What's up you guys, it's Aisling and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be testing out new foundations from Lancôme. I haven't tried a stick foundation in the longest time ever and I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see what this foundation is like. I talked about it in a vlog. Some of you guys said you'd like to see it and an in-depth wear test, so that's what I'm going to do today. So this is called the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra Wear Stick. Sorry, my French is terrible. I'm just butchered that. I haven't tried a foundation stick in a hot minute, so I'm really excited to give this one a go. I think it came out in like the last 6 months, so it's their newest foundation. They did have one like this before, but I never tried it, and I do believe that it's been reformulated or it's a different formula. So it recommends to use this as a foundation, concealer to highlight and contour with a medium to full coverage. It's up to 24-hour buildable matte coverage. It's ultra comfortable long wear, lightweight powder cream foundation formula, creamy and blendable texture, natural matte look with a shine-free finish. It minimizes the appearance of pores. There are 20 shades available. It's described as lightweight second skin makeup for an all-day color wear. New sleek, portable and ultra expert packaging with built-in kabuki foundation brush for application, contouring and blending. Described basically as something like your skin, only better. It's lightweight, it's not supposed to be heavy, it's not highly fragranced, for all skin types. It retails for €30 and there's 20 shades available. I have 3 different shades and I actually don't think any of them are going to match me. Obviously this was sent to me in pure and it can be hit and miss, like your skin changes depending on the time of the year. I think they were sent out to me as like a contour, a highlight and a foundation, you know, for my face, but I feel like the contour is probably going to match me the closest. So I have the shade 220 Buff, I have the shade 240 Bisque, and I have the shade number 1 Beige. That looks quite cool, but it might be the one that might work for me. We'll give it a go anyway. And then what was the other one that I was looking at that I thought maybe might work for me? Bisque, perhaps. This is the shade that I thought might have been sent to me as a contour shade. So we'll see. We'll try and get them to work. This one looks like it's a little bit dark for me, and then the other one looks a little bit cool toned. On the ends of these, they have the little kabuki brush. It's super soft, but I won't be using it in today's video because I never use these type of products. But I guess you could use it like for cream contouring or blending out your concealer. Actually, it might be good for the concealer under the eye. In general, I don't like brushes like that for blending out my foundation. The packaging is really sleek, it's black and it has a little rose on the top from the Lancôme logo. If you guys have watched enough foundation videos of mine, you know the drill. Whole face moisturize. I'm going to prime one side, leave the other one without any primer, see which one wears the best, and then I'm going to apply one with a brush, one with a sponge, just to see again how it applies, which way I prefer it, and then if the primer makes any difference. I know a lot of you out there probably don't think primer does, but sometimes we've had great results with a primer versus not wearing one. So if you guys are interested in watching the full review and wear test of this video, then just keep on watching. Okay, so we're going to start off by priming the face. The One Step Skin Perfecting Primer. This is a Care Primer Soft Tint with an SPF of 20. So I'm just going to apply this primer to one side of my face, focusing kind of around the nose and my chin area. This is the shade 420 Bisque. It's way too dark. And then this is the shade 220 Buff. Ooh, that kind of like blends right into my skin. Like it almost looks identical, but it is a bit too cool. So I think I'm going to mix both of these. Just to mix the 2 shades together. I have no idea how much of this product I'm going to need. I'm just going to blend this in with a sponge. So it blends out quite nicely. Really easy to blend and it's like seamless in the skin. It's really lightweight. I actually think the 2 colours together balance each other out because one is cooler and I just think that it tones down the warmth in the other shade. Coverage is quite light from it. I'm just doing a second layer of this product because I feel like once I blended it in, the colour wasn't as dark. I know I was blending it in with the other shade, but I just feel like it kind of like disappeared on my face. Okay, so that is with a sponge. I'm going to go in the other side with a brush and we're going to see how we get on. As always, I'm taking my Sigma flat F80 brush. I absolutely love this. And again, I'm just going to apply the darker shade and then mix through the lighter shade. And then I'm just taking my flat kabuki brush, I'm just going to blend that into the skin. I can't stress how easy this is to move on the skin and how it almost sinks into the skin and just becomes like your skin, only better. But I mean, it was described like that on the website. Again, that was just one layer of product. I'm getting a lot more coverage with the brush. I have as much coverage on this side as I do on this side, and I did 2 layers of product on it. Initial reaction to this foundation is that it is very lightweight. Like, this is like moisturizer on your skin. It's super lightweight. It's not heavy or thick or cakey or too full coverage on the skin. I much prefer the brush side. I don't like the sponge side at all, which is kind of crazy because I do like applying foundations with sponge. I do feel like the primer has helped a lot. I feel like without the primer it is kind of sunken in a little bit to my pores just here on my cheeks. I have very oily skin, sorry, I meant to mention that earlier in the video. I just always presume that people know that. This is a very light to medium coverage, which was already described. If you have rosacea or you have breakouts, I cannot see this covering it because I can see all of my freckles, like, and I can still see my dark circles underneath my eyes. I do really like a lightweight, natural looking foundation from time to time. As you can see, I have a little less coverage on this side compared to this. It's very hard to see on camera because you literally need to be like an inch from the skin. I can see that it is emphasized just my pores ever so slightly on the side that's not primed, and you can see that it hasn't covered up my dark circles. So this is definitely a lightweight consistency. You can see all my little freckles. All in all, it's a beautiful looking foundation. Like, this is like a day-to-day foundation that I would wear where I don't want something too full coverage. I want something kind of natural on the skin, but so far I really like it. I should mention that you get 9.5 grams of product in this, which looks like that. 9-10 grams of product is usually what you get in a stick foundation. So I'm starting this review at 11 a.m. so I'm going to see how we get on close to the 12-hour mark as we can possibly get. So I will check in with you guys shortly once the rest of my face is done. It's now 1 o'clock, so it's been 2 hours since I applied this foundation. Since I've applied like my concealer and like my powder, that I've gotten a little bit more coverage. It is creasing ever so slightly around my mouth, which kind of happens a lot with foundations lately, like in the last couple of years, just because of the aging process. I mean, I'm not as young as I used to be. That doesn't tend to happen until later in the day. It does kind of happen a bit prematurely. And the only thing I felt like didn't quite like blend on top of it as nice as I would like it to be would be my concealer, which is kind of weird because I've used that concealer tons of times. It is the Catrice True Skin Concealer. So perhaps maybe this was just too thick to put on top of something so thin. It didn't go on top of it as nice as it normally does with other foundations. So I felt like I had to kind of blend a little bit more just to kind of get it to look a bit more decent on the skin. That was the only thing. And then I also did notice from setting it that the powder kind of clung a little bit just to a bit of the product here, which I've never had that happen before with a foundation where the powder has kind of like clung to it and caused it to go a little bit darker. So just over here it kind of looks like I have like a little tash. I have no idea why it's happened in that one spot. I tried to kind of fix it with using the sponge just to kind of blend out the area, but I feel like I've made it worse. You can probably see just there where it's clung, and it has done it a little bit there as well. So I'm not really sure why it's done that. It's done it nowhere else on the skin, but it looks like I have 2 massive blemishes there. So I just feel like it looks really fresh. It's nice. It's lightweight. All in all, I'm happy with the appearance of this on my skin. Like I said, it's only been 2 hours. I'll come back in a few more hours. We'll see how we're getting on and what it's looking like, and I'll talk to you then. Hey guys, so I am back for my first proper update of the day. 4:13. I've been wearing the foundation, like I said, for 5 hours. So we have a little bit of wearing away just around the nose, a little bit of wearing away on the jawline. I am getting a bit oily on the chin and around my nose and in between my brows. But other than that, it's pretty much looking intact. Am I blown away with this? Am I obsessed with it or anything? Definitely not. But I do quite like the look of this foundation on my skin. Like, I do enjoy the appearance of it. I like how lightweight it is. After 5 hours, it's looking pretty decent, especially for a stick foundation. I find that they tend to last a little bit less on my skin other than the Hourglass, but I mean, there's nothing like the Hourglass. I mean, I have never found a foundation that lasts, like a stick foundation that lasts as well as that. It has managed to keep my oils at bay, and I'm pretty happy with that. And also just with the little tiny bit of wearing away, not like too bothered with it. It's not too excessive to the point where I'd be like, oh, this foundation's rubbish. I actually quite like it, and I think my mum would actually really like this foundation as well, because she would like something that's as natural and close to her skin as possible. I've nothing really else to say about this foundation, so kind of early in the review. We'll see how we get on later on in the day. It is currently 7:06, so I've been wearing the foundation for over 8 hours. I most definitely think that the foundation looks pretty decent at 8 hours. I'm definitely not disappointed, even though it has worn off a little bit over my nose where my glasses were. It's not that bad. It's intact on my nose. My chin's a little bit oily and just on my cheeks here and in between my brows, but it's not anything crazy. It stayed intact kind of pretty much everywhere, and I really like the look of this. I think it looks really great on my skin. I like the fact that all the products have still remained intact. My blush and highlighter from earlier. Not to be shady about it, but I'm surprised that I like this foundation on my skin, because earlier on when I applied it, I was like, this is going to wear away. It's not going to look good on my skin. I'm not going to like it after 8 hours. I'm actually shocked that it looks this good, and I don't know why I had that impression of it. I think it's just because it's a stick foundation. I've had a few bad experiences with stick foundations in the past. Like, if I could find a flaw, I would try and find a flaw, but I can't. I think it looks really, really good. But you can kind of see earlier on when I was giving out just about the clinging of the foundation, you can see it there, and just a little bit of the wearing away. I don't think there's any on this side, and just a little bit where it wore away over my nose, but definitely not too bad. I'm not noticing any difference between the primed, this side, and unprimed side at this stage. Like I said earlier on, it kind of sunk a little bit into my pores on the unprimed side, but it hasn't changed or altered the longevity of it. Like I always say, 8 hours is like a standard day of work, college, whatever. You kind of want your foundations to last the 8 hour mark, and I think that this one looks so good after 8 hours. So we'll see you guys at the next check-in. It's 10:23, so it's not quite the 12 hours. It's close enough to it. Wanted to do this last check-in tonight because I am so looking forward to taking my makeup off. I can kind of see from my mirror here that I am extremely greasy. Oh my, I am very, very, very oily. The last check-in I did was at the 8 hour mark, so between 8 and 12 hours I've gotten this oily, which is just a lot of oiliness. In my opinion, this foundation for me personally has a wear length of about 8 to 10 hours. I could feel my skin just getting that bit oilier and greasier at around the 9-10 hour mark. Not looking great on my skin right now. I don't like the appearance of it at all whatsoever, but I mean, it did last most of the day. I'm just gonna blot with a powder just to see, can I tone down the shininess. It has toned down the oiliness, but despite that, I still don't think it looks the best on my skin right now. It has sank significantly more into my pores. The concealer and the foundation, earlier on I said that they weren't mixing well, but I'm noticing that they've creased a lot underneath my eye, just whatever way they mix together. But that's nothing to do with the foundation. I guess it's just to do with the concealer and the way that it sits on top of the foundation, and it does feel a little bit heavier on my skin just in those areas where it was really shiny. But all in all, it's a pretty decent foundation. I think that this will be a great top-up foundation, so if I'm going about my day and I just feel like I need like a bit of a top-up of whatever foundation I'm wearing, this would be just really great. But I find that with most stick foundations. The other pro I have of this is the quickness and the ease of use. This flies on your skin, it blends out really easy, it just melts into the skin and it becomes like a second skin. This stage of the day, it's looking more like I'm wearing a lot of foundation and it just doesn't look good. But earlier in the day and around like the 8 hour mark, it was just looking like my skin only better. This evens out your complexion without looking like too overkill. The only negatives I have to say about this is it's quite a greasy consistency. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but it is that kind of like very slippy, greasy consistency, and I don't really particularly like the feel of that later on in the day. But I mean, earlier on in the day you don't really feel it, and I think that's what actually makes it merge into the skin almost. Another kind of negative I have is the actual packaging itself. I feel like it's a bit plasticky, it's a bit cheapy, and for Lancôme it's not really what I'm expecting. I don't care for the brush on the other end, so it's not really something I would pick up. But again, that could be a pro for you, that you have like a little brush for on the go, but for me it's just not necessary. Could have done a bit more with the packaging. I just feel like this is something you would buy from maybe like L'Oreal, like something really affordable. I even think that the packaging from the Revolution stick foundation is a bit more bougie than this, but that is nothing to do with the product itself. I think you can kind of see the oiliness still after my blotting. It just doesn't look the best. The wearing away here, I don't know if there's any more wearing away there. It looks okay, but it's definitely not my favorite looking foundation on my skin at this hour of the day. Caking, I feel like it's done a little bit that on my jawline, on this side particularly. I think it is salvageable if you just went over the foundation with another little bit and topped it up and then went in with a powder. Have you tried it? What do you think of it on your skin? Have you dry skin, oily skin, combo skin? Let me know right in the comments. That helps other people. I don't think it looks the worst. It definitely doesn't look the best, but I can say I am very much looking forward to taking it off. I 100% would try it again. I will use it again. I'll probably use it as a foundation for if I'm going to the cinema, or if I know I'm going out and I'm not going to be out for a very, very long time. It's not going to be like a long wearing foundation for me. You just want to pop on a bit of foundation quickly, that is something I would go for. Thank you so much guys for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let me know of any other foundations you would like me to try coming up. I have one more foundation. It's from YSL that I will be doing a wear test on pretty soon, but if there's anything else new or old, let me know and I'll check it out and try it out. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.